For most of 2013, the Astros have suffered heartbreak at the hands of the Oakland A's. But for two glorious nights in Oakland, the Astros have turned the tables, snatching away Oakland's joy and turning their own frowns upside down. Their final mission in Oakland, sweep the series and keep the good times rolling. Live from Oakland's HOU Coliseum, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today's game is the finale of this three-game set between the Stros and the Oakland A's. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you as we get set to close out this three-game series. Jared Cozart did his thing once again last night, pitching very well, but once again, despite the win for the Astros, Cozart comes up empty with a no decision.
This kid's been fantastic. Goes another 6 strong innings. Walking one guy, 4 strikeouts, and last night his second chance to going against these Oakland A's, wondering what they would do to him. He did a fantastic job of throwing that breaking ball again right at him, and did a good job with his fastball. He's throwing a consistent 95 miles an hour, has that slight cut, gets some awkward swings, but also Angel Hernandez back there working with him was a good thing for the youngster.
The defense has certainly had its issues over the course of the season, but last night played a huge part in the win.
Yeah, defense behind Jared Cozart did a great job. A couple of big plays by Brandon Barnes, especially that catch and throw double play to get Sogard at third base was fantastic. And Chris Young coming up with a chance to win the game again for the Oakland Athletics. Gets denied by Robbie Grossman on a jumping catch. And Chris Young wanted proof to see that ball if he actually made that play. But what a great night for the Houston Astros.
It was a clubhouse full of heroes last night. The Astros amped after taking the first 2 from the Oakland A's. I'm Julia Morales, and coming up, we'll talk about a ball club that wants to keep the good times rolling. and we're set for the series finale between the Astros and the A's. The Astros in good moods this morning as they take the first two from the A's, winning their first series over Oakland for the first time in franchise history, and winning their first series since back when they took 2 of 3 from the Brewers on June 20th. Some complete games here for the Astros. Starting pitching has been very good, but the offense has also come up with some big hits lately. One of those guys, Carlos Corporon, who came up big in the 11th last night, driving in Jose Altuve for the game winner. And he is our Geico quote of the day, as he said, "We've been playing pretty good. Things are going our way now. It is our turn." And that is the vibe around the clubhouse. Extremely happy for one another as they're hoping to carry that with them throughout the rest of this road trip. And coming up, we're going to have much more on Corporon and some of the big moments he's had recently and what his skipper thinks is the secret to his success. But for now, we've got to send it up to the guys in the booth with the lineups. Ash and Blummer, how you doing?
Doing great, Julia. Beautiful day here this afternoon as the A's now take the field. And thanks so much, Ed. It is a nice feeling on the ball club this morning, and good to come off a couple of wins as rough as things have been of late. And these Oakland A's, a club that has played so well against the Astros over the course of the season, as the Astros now have picked up 3 wins in 14 outings against this Oakland A's ball club. Sonny Gray getting ready for the Astros lineup today that looks like this. Robbie Grossman in the top spot playing in left field, followed by Brett Wallace at first, and second baseman Jose Altuve back out there again. Middle 3, Carlos Corporon, the big hit last night to help win the ball game. He does the catching. DH Chris Carter and Mark Krause gets a start in right field. And the bottom 3 at third base, Matt Dominguez, Brandon Barnes, Flash and Leather all over last night. He's in center, and at shortstop it's Jonathan Villar.
They'll be going up against Oakland A's rookie right-hander Sonny Gray. He was Oakland's first-round pick in 2011 out of Vanderbilt University. This will be his second start on the season. Pretty good numbers to start out his career. Also shows a good fastball around 95 miles an hour, but likes to go to that breaking ball with 2 strikes to put guys away. He has electric stuff. You can see 10 innings pitched, 11 Ks. Left-handed hitters aren't doing too well against him. And backing up Sonny Gray on this beautiful day here in Oakland, we see Yoenis Cespedes in left field, Chris Young back in center field, Josh Reddick right field, Josh Donaldson at third base, Eric Sogard at shortstop, Alberto Callaspo at second base, Nate Fryman making an appearance at first base, and Derek Norris back behind the plate for the Oakland Athletics.
Jeff mentioned Sonny Gray in just his second major league start and his 4th major league outing overall. He's worked just 10 innings, allowing 6 hits and a couple of earned runs, 1 home run mixed in, and 4 walks. But 11 big strikeouts probably tells you a lot about this very good arm. Wilmer mentioned the 94-mile-an-hour average with the heater. So he can bring it, a fast track to the big leagues for a guy drafted in 2011. For the Astros, after the 2 wins to start this series, they're now 39-80 on the season. 30 games back in the American League West. Oakland A's 67-52. They're 2 games back now of the first place Texas Rangers. We're set to work. It'll be Robbie Grossman to start it. Infield for the Oakland A's drawn in at the corners as they respect the speed and the bunt ability of Robbie Grossman. Fryman at first, Donaldson at third, and the first pitch is up and in. 69 degrees here in Oakland. And again, a gorgeous looking day, not a cloud to be seen in the sky. And 2-0 the count. The defense was spectacular last night. We've talked about it, but the way Brandon Barnes and Robbie Grossman and on played defensively, it was worth lauding, no doubt about that. 2-1 the count now on Robbie Grossman.
What gets lost in all of that is the great pitching by the Astros and the offense that they did have in the first game. The defense did a fantastic job, but the Oakland A's have got to be looking at their offense wondering, how do we get this thing going?
Yeah, they have certainly struggled. They've lost 9 of 13 now after the 2 straight losses to Houston. Count evens at 2-2 on Robbie. Lifetime Oakland leads this series 16-4. Little half swing going through. Robbie Grossman, a strikeout victim to get things started.
Get to see that curveball early from Sonny Gray, striking out Robbie Grossman on it. good old-fashioned 12-6 hammer, but that thing's thrown firm and sharp.
Yeah, we haven't seen enough yet, but a little bit of Jared Cozart with that over-the-top curveball. With one out, it brings up Brett Wallace, hitting .216, 9 long balls on the year. Soft liner, that'll be handled by the second baseman Kai Aspo, who had a rough night with trying to lay down some bunts last night. 2 down quickly here in the first inning.
And I think that's where Bob Melvin fell into the issue of playing quote-unquote small ball, realizing that runs were a premium last night, and Kai Aspo was a guy that found himself in 2 different situations and was unable to get the bunt down to advance the runner, which led to more woes for the Oakland Athletic offense.
Jose Altuve stands in, hitting .283. Boy, did he get himself a couple of cuts late in the ballgame as he lined a single into left field. Ran very well last night, and that probably played a big part in the fact that he's once again in there this afternoon. Marwin Gonzalez has joined the Astros, but other than coming in as a pinch runner last night, hasn't seen action. A ball and a strike, 95 on the heater. Despite that 3-11 mark for Houston against the A's this year, each of the last 5 games between the clubs have been determined by 1 run, so it has been tough and tight between the 2 teams. 8 of the last 14 determined by 2 or fewer runs. And I guess before you run, you walk and crawl, and you try to get in games, stay close with the tough teams. Fastball fouled on the first base side. It's even 2-2 on Altuve. Jared Cozart again pitched well last night. He's pitched at least 6 innings in all but 1 of his 6 major league starts now. Tom Browning, the last pitcher to be able to turn that trick. Breaking ball got him. Down on strikes, Altuve. A couple in the first inning for Sonny Gray. A 1-2-3 frame. We're scoreless after a half. That is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Beautiful Bay Area here in Northern California. San Francisco is where we stay in the hotel, and then come across the Bay Bridge over to HOU Coliseum in Oakland, home of the Oakland A's. And the Oakland A's will line them up today with Chris Young in the top spot. Tough luck series here for Chris Young. He's in center. The DH, Jed Lowry, and Josh Donaldson at third base. Middle 3, left fielder Yoenis Cespedes, Nate Fryman's at first base, and Alberto Callasco at second. In the bottom 3, in right field, Josh Reddick, Derek Norris. It's his first start of the series. He catches, and the shortstop is Eric Sogard.
For the Astros, 34-year-old Eric Bedard on the hill. Been pitching well of late. Done a good job here at HOU Stadium. 3-1 in 5 starts.
Last outing against the Texas Rangers, and no decision. In fact, no decisions in the last 2 Bedard starts. Worked 6 2/3 last time out, allowed just 3 runs. And he has pitched well. Count a ball and a strike. Chris Young. 2 games in the series to this point, but I can't imagine a guy having a more hard luck series to this point. There's the changeup for a swing and a miss. 2 nights ago, comes so close to being the hero, driving a ball just outside the foul pole, maybe down the left field side, then struck out to end the ball game as the Astros won it. And then last night hit what looked to be a sure towering home run to left field. Robbie Grossman back to the wall, goes up and brings it back down, and the Astros go on to win. Ground ball to short, handled by VR, and beating it, just sprinting down the line, Chris Young. Jonathan VR maybe stumbled just a hair, and it provided some time. Bo Porter's going to come out and argue this one, the first base umpire today. Doug Eddings, Paul Nauert's behind the plate, Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, at second, and Angel Hernandez is at third.
Sometimes in these day games, he's out.
Yep.
Need to get Doug Eddings another cup of coffee. He's had a rough series. Some of the calls he's had, he got that foul ball home run on Chris Young right, but you can see right there the ball definitely beat him.
Yep.
But yeah, a little slip. Sometimes in these day games, the grounds crew will go out there and water the field a little bit extra, knowing that it's going to dry out throughout the course of the game.
You know, we see a lot of calls that are as close to bang bang as you'll get, and there's no right or wrong call, but this was one that, quite frankly, there was a gap there, and pretty easy call to make, you would think. So it's an infield single for Chris Young to start things. He's aboard as Jed Lowry comes to the plate.
I've seen in recent years that umpiring is no easy feat.
Bedard's pitch hit in the air to the gap in right center field, and nobody's going to get there. It goes to the wall. Digging for third, being waved home, is Young. He will score on a double by Jed Lowry, and just like that, 1-0, the A's lead it. For Lowry, RBI number 49. And Eric Bedard victimized by that missed call at first base.
Yeah, but Jed Lowry knows that Eric Bedard throws a lot of fastballs, throws them early in the count, tries to get ahead on that inside corner, but this fastball left out over the plate. Does a good job of ripping it the other way and taking advantage of having a speedy Chris Young on base.
Nobody out for Josh Donaldson. Fine third baseman, hitting .297 with 17 bombs, 64 runs driven in. For Jed Lowry, his 31st two-bagger of the year. Eric Bedard needs to be able to turn this back around quickly now. That slide step to the plate, and the breaking ball missing low.
Last thing he wants to do, Eric Bedard, that is to have another outing like he did last time he did pitch here in Oakland, only going a third of an inning, giving up 6 earned runs.
Mentioned that last start for Bedard against the Texas Rangers. He took a no decision in what turned out to be a 9-5 Houston loss to the Rangers. It was a 9th quality start of the season for Bedard. Left the game in the 7th inning with a 4-3 lead. The opposition against Bedard this year has scored 2 earned runs or less in 10 of his 16 starts since returning to the rotation. That came on the 11th of May. 2-1 pitch in the strike zone. Evens things at 2-2. And in that span since May 11th, an ERA at .356, so he's pitched very well. And we talked about how well he's pitched of late over the last 4 starts, an ERA at an even 3. But Eric Bedard, like others in the rotation for the Astros, not enjoying the success with W's. That'll fill it 3-2. First base is open. Cleanup man Yoenis Cespedes waits on deck. Back for Bedard here in the second half since the All-Star break. The opponent's batting average against it 198. And he has struck out 27 in his 24 innings since the break. That comes out to a 10-plus strikeout per 9-inning rate, and that's third best in that time frame for Bedard among American League starters. Three-two pitch. Changeup is laid off. It's a nice job by Josh Donaldson.
Behind Eric Bedard is going to be Robbie Grossman in left field. Brandon Barnes back in center field. Mark Krause out in right field. Domingo at third base. Villar at short. Altuve at second base. Wally at first base. And Carlos Poperon picking up the day game for Jason Castro behind the plate.
Still nobody out as Cespedes stands in. Hitting .231. It's been a frustrating season with the batting average, but 19 home runs. Has one here in the series. 56 ribbies.
Bedard's struggles have been on the road too. He's pitched great at Minute Maid Park, only 2.93 ERA at home at Minute Maid, but on the road a 1-6 record with a 5.65 ERA.
Bedard starts him with the curveball, finds the strike zone. With the day game here in Oakland, that means the ball will be carrying much better than it does at night, in particular last night. As that marine layer came in over the stadium, it changed things enormously, and there were some balls hit very well that did not get out. Bedard, the 0-1, tries to get the fastball on the inside corner. Little breeze here at the ballpark. What you can see is blowing out toward right field. And they tarp up the upper deck here. Even with the football games with the Raiders, a number of the seats are covered. And talk of late that maybe the Oakland Raiders might move on back to Los Angeles. It's 1-2 now on Cespedes.
The Raiders. Yeah,
just
Matt Davis had big expectations out there in center field, didn't he?
I think he did. Bedard with the 1-2. And got him. Up and away out of the strike zone. First out and first strikeout for Eric Bedard.
Well, he got Cespedes to chase one up out of the zone right here for that first out of the inning. Trying to do a little too much, getting greedy with runners in scoring position. Now a ground ball gets you out of this inning.
With one out, Nate Fryman comes to the plate. Fryman, the big guy that was with the Astros back in spring training, very impressive. The Astros did not protect him, and he was picked up by the Oakland A's. And he's played pretty well, hitting .267, a couple of home runs, both of those coming against Houston pitching. Backs away and takes inside. Fryman gets the start this afternoon at first base. He has handled left-hand pitching to the tune of a .302 batting average. Both of the home runs coming against lefties. Hits one sharply over the bag at first and down the right field line. This will score Lowry with the second run, and now being waved home is Donaldson. He'll make it without a throw. Two-run double by Fryman. And just like that, 3-0, the A's lead it.
I think this one right here shocked everybody in the ballpark, including Nate Fryman. Put an emergency hack on this pitch early in the count and manages to shoot it inside that bag on the first base side. He even hesitated after he made contact with this ball to see if it was fair. He was like, oh, hey, gotta go. Still bad luck for Eric Bedard with that ball finding its way inside that line for a two-run double.
So Fryman comes up with a big swing, continues to do damage on the Astros. 1 out, 3 runs in. Alberto Callaspo at the plate, batting right-handed now. We saw him last night from the left side in a couple of attempts late in the ballgame, trying to lay down a bunt for Bob Melvin. Couldn't get it done. Kept popping it up. And ultimately, you'd have to say as much as anything, that may have cost the Oakland A's the ballgame.
Such a tough call as a manager. You know the situation calls for it sometimes, but like you said, Ash, he botched that first situation. He had to bunt, and he went right back to it.
It just popped up left side. Corcoran coming over, but called off by Dominguez, who makes the catch. Callaspo pops out, second out here in the first inning, and Josh Reddick comes to the plate. So Bedard will try to minimize the damage here in the first. Josh Reddick, left-hand hitter, an aggressive one. That double by Fryman, his 6th hit in 19 at-bats against the Astros this year. We mentioned the 2 home runs. This is his 3rd double against Houston pitching. So he has been a big thorn in the sides of the Astros, and we say big. He is all of that, 6'8", listed at 250. Reddick takes outside. Bedard, a long look in. The Astros with a flight on down to the Anaheim area this evening, likely flying into Los Angeles. Reddick hitting .215. Half swing on a strike. It's 1-1. In a recent series against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto, Reddick had a 3 home run game followed by a 2 home run game, and the 5 dingers in those 2 nights, half of his output put on the season. Breaking ball hit high in the air to center field. Routine as Barnes is right there staring up into that bright sky and makes the catch. That'll do it for the A's, but they put 3 on the board in the first inning and lead it 3-0.
Astros down 3-0 here in Oakland, and Carlos Corporon will be up first for the Astros, and right here, and coming up big last night for the Houston Astros in clutch situations as well, as he was coming off the bench last night. But this goes back further, July 24th against the Oakland A's with a big go-ahead home run there. And then, more recently, Monday night, breaking up Yu Darvish's no-hitter with a home run there. And then last night, doubling in Jose Altuve in the 11th, coming off the bench to do that. Very impressive, and not easy to come up big when you're not an everyday player. But Bo Porter says Corporon has aspirations to be a manager one day. So he watches the game a little differently and asks Bo a lot of questions. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? He's always in tune with the game, and it's definitely showed, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, and that swing by Carlos Corporon last night, he came up with a bomb, and it looked like that ball was going to get out of here. We talked about the wet skies last night and chilly, wet skies. They held the ball in the ballpark extremely well. I don't know, didn't speak to Carlos about how well he hit that, but I have a feeling he got just about every bit. He leads it off. Cleanup man this afternoon takes a strike. A couple of strikeouts in the first inning for Sonny Gray. Got to be a soap opera star or something like that, right?
Or a quarterback.
Yeah.
Be a good name.
He'd be Colt Gray or Jason Castro, who has a 12-game hitting streak. Hate to have one of those nice hitting streaks and then get called on as a pinch hitter late in the ball game.
It's about the team, Ash.
It is all about team.
Corby's such an asset for these Houston Astros, though. I mean, he's putting up incredible numbers coming off the bench, doesn't complain about anything.
His catching has been, for me, the ideal part about things. Very nice receiver, throws well. As for time as he gets back in the box. Gray brings the 1-2.
Get a chance to look at the Astros catching core. They're fourth in average, tied for second with 19 total home runs between these guys. Put them together, that's a pretty good two-headed monster behind home plate.
Curveball hit slowly on 2 hops to second. Callaspo with the play, and the first out here in the top of the second. Too early on Sonny Gray to formulate a whole lot of opinions as to how he handles different situations. But to this point, left-hand batters have had a struggle, hitting just .071 against Gray. The righties have also struggled, but in a stronger fashion at .217. Gray went 6-4 at Sacramento earlier on the season. And a good ERA at .269 in that Pacific Coast League. That is extremely impressive. Chris Carter stands in and has the count even at 1-1. Carter with 22 bombs now. He hit one in last night's game. He's had 3 home runs in his last 5 games, 2 in that Texas Rangers series. Chris hitting .211. Sonny Gray pretty steadily about 94, 95.
Another good pitcher out of Vanderbilt University. Those guys have been cranking out big leaguers left and right here in the last 6 or 7 years, it seems like.
At 94, he gets it by the bat of Carter. It's now filled 3-2. They have been a machine producing pitchers.
David Price, most notably.
I guess that would work. And Carter draws the walk. Comes with 1 out, brings up Mark Krause, who gets the start in right field.
Log on to CSNHouston.com and click on In Game Live to enhance your Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz in-game live only on csnhouston.com.
Pedro Alvarez, the big slugging third baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates, another guy that came out of Vandy. Astros down 3-0 early. Oakland A's came up with 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Mark Krause has 3 big league dingers and takes a ball.
Yeah, I think we picked up Vanderbilt's right side of the infield in this most recent draft too. Tony Kemp, the second baseman.
That's the smallish fella.
Conrad Gregor, the first baseman. Been swinging the bat all right.
It just popped up left side. That'll find the seats. A 1-1 count on Mark Krause. Big hole on the right side now.
Doesn't look like school started yet up here in the Oakland Bay area. A couple of kids enjoying the game Thursday afternoon.
I enjoy the day games. I don't know how you feel about it, but sometimes they're a little bit rough to rally for.
I could not stand them.
No, as a player?
Oh, the older I got, the worse I got. But on this day, sun's out, temperature's up, and so is the velo on Sonny Gray. You get a chance to look at some of his pitches. 94-mile-an-hour average on his fastball. Throws that changeup pretty firm. Is probably why he gets hit every now and then. But that curveball, he takes quite a bit off that to break it through the zone.
Very close pitch. Called a ball. It's 3-1.
You haven't heard my theory on day games?
No, I haven't.
And the Chicago Cubs?
Let me hear it.
I think that's why they have a tough time winning championships. Playing so many day games after going on long road trips where you're playing a bunch of night games, then you got to come back to Chicago. You got to start playing day games, get used to that routine, then you go back out on the road and start playing night games. I think it's a huge issue for those guys.
So you don't think it's about the GOAT then?
No. Well, the GOAT probably has something to do with it. I mean, we've seen curses in baseball have effects on teams, but I think between the new testing policy and now playing day games, that combination could prove to be pretty rough for the Chicago Cubs.
Nice play by one of the fans here. Well, that means you're minimizing the effect of Steve Bartman then.
Cubs fan probably wish you could minimize that, but he had a huge impact on that, unfortunately, for him and the Cubs.
3-2 pitch. Fouled again. Krause stays alive. Mark hitting 164. Well, I think there's probably some merit to that theory about the Cubs.
It's a tough routine. I mean, it's nice because it was almost like a 9-to-5 job when you're home in Chicago, but then you go on the road and you're changing time zones. That could have a huge effect on you physically.
3-2 pitch coming once again. Gray brings it and got him swinging. Third strikeout for Sonny Gray. Second out here in the second inning, and Matt Dominguez comes to the plate.
Showing good life on that fastball. Mark Krause was unable to catch up to any of them. Fouled a couple back over the third base side and finally gets put away with one.
Now Dominguez will stand in, hitting .228, 14 big home runs. He's had an outstanding year at third base. Were you a fan of hitting with the sunglasses?
Nope, couldn't do it. I didn't like playing the infield with sunglasses on. I felt like my depth perception was just off, just a hair, and I didn't feel comfortable with them hitting or fielding. Different
companies came out with sunglasses that were supposed to be ideal for this situation, and that you didn't find any one pair to work specifically for a day game.
Polarized, unpolarized, no. Yeah, I couldn't find it. You know, I think it was a game actually in Chicago, a day game, where I did have a pair of sunglasses on, and it was a ground ball to my left, and I went to reach for it, and it handcuffed me a little bit. And from there on out, I couldn't wear them. I just completely blamed the whole situation on the sunglasses and threw them out. Went with the old school tiger eyes flip downs.
Were you superstitious enough to have one miscue maybe kind of throw you mentally?
Well, I mean, I blamed it on in that situation, but then I take the sunglasses off and I continue to make plays after that. So it's pretty easy for me to point back at the sunglasses being the only thing that was altered in the situation.
And the reason I asked that question, for me and many players I watched, all it took was one moment that didn't go right, and if there was one logical reason you could apply to it, the sunglasses, the shoes, the glove, whatever it was, players will take advantage of that.
Later in my career, I tried to go back to the sunglasses every once in a while, but just was never totally comfortable with them on.
I remember there was some company that came out with, I think, the yellow shades that were supposed to make you see the ball even better than you would see it typically with your own eyes in perfect, ideal conditions.
Shooting glasses?
Is that what those were?
I think those yellow ones, isn't it?
Ground ball hit on the left side. The shortstop Sogard will make the flip onto Cayaspo. That'll do it for the Astros in the second inning. It's a 3-0 Oakland lead.
Astros 3-0. Join us Friday, August 23rd for our next big and bright Friday night. First pitch against the Toronto Blue Jays is at 7:10. Stick around after the game for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets, guys.
Thanks, Julia. For the A's, leading at 3-0. 8-9-1 coming up. Catcher Derek Norris leads it off. Been battling a sore back of late. Didn't play in games 1 and 2 here in the series. He has been driving that batting average northward here since the All-Star break. Bedard falls behind 2-0. Did you have the same result here in this ballpark in Oakland, where at nighttime you found the ball didn't carry well, but in the daytime maybe it carried considerably better?
Oh, yeah. But you talked about it yesterday. You hit it on it. Most of the West Coast teams, you know, from Seattle on down to San Diego, except for maybe Anaheim, they're all pretty coastal. I mean, even Dodger Stadium is relatively close to the coast, and that place at night was extremely tough to hit the ball out of the ballpark. They've changed up their their outfield situation as far as fence distance. But when these Bay Area ball clubs play at night, you get the fog rolling in. You've seen the huge effects on AT&T Park across the bay. They're right on the water, and that's only 309 down that right field line. That's one of the tougher ballparks to hit it out of. But day games, he always welcomed them because he knew the ball was going to fly a little bit better with less humidity in the air.
Leadoff walk here as we start the bottom of the second inning. Norris heads on down to first base. 9-hitter Eric Sogard comes to the plate. Sogard late in last night's ball game was swinging a big bat and gave the A's what looked like at the time opportunities to win the ball game. Alberto Callaspo followed him in the batting order, and in both cases tried to lay down bunts, couldn't get it done, and eventually the A's would fail to score. This time it's Sogard trying to drag one with him on the right side and fouls it back.
Not a bad idea with the 34-year-old Eric Bedard on the mound. She's moving a little bit better after making that play.
It was Eric Sogard, by the way, that was involved with the Matt Garza big tizzy that went on with some bunts. Even Sogard's wife somehow got involved in that. The Twitter wars. Sogard 2 for 4 in last night's game, both doubles. Bedard missing very close. Right there, bottom of the knees, outside black.
Corpy did a good job of receiving that ball. Made it look closer than maybe it actually was.
Breaking ball, chop foul. Corpy is a very nice receiver. He's got that style of catching the ball deep on the body, and so it makes him kind of hold the glove in a very nice position. He's also turned into in my opinion, a very good blocker of off-speed pitches in the dirt. Holds his glove very steady, utilizes the chest protector well. It's a 1-2 count. Who's that? I have a feeling Bedard, little sailor, as you saw the glove of Corcoran just kind of battling, flinching at the end.
Yeah, we heard Castro talking about that earlier in the year, how he'll just put down the #1 in the location to Eric Bedard. And it's up to Eric Bedard what kind of fastball he's going to throw in there.
Pitch fouled back. Sogard does a nice job battling against the left-hander. Though over the course of the season, Sogard has had his struggles against lefties. He's hit .209. Does have one of his 2 home runs against southpaws. Sogard now with 13 hits against Astros pitching this year in 43 at-bats. It's a .302 batting average. 5 of those hits have been doubles, 1 triple, and he's driven in 4. He was a big part of the assault the Oakland A's were throwing on the Astros early in the season.
He tried to do his part last night. Even on that first night in here in Oakland, he drove a ball late in the game we thought might have a chance to get out, but was held down due to the heavy air.
And down on strike, Sogard. That's the first out here in the second inning, and provides us a chance to check in with Julia.
Hey, Ash, as Chris Young makes his way to the plate, it gives us a chance to think back on his last 2 nights, coming so close to changing the outcome of the games in Twitterverse. Sharing their opinions with some great tweets, but this was probably my favorite. The way Chris Young's luck is going, he'll probably find a ticket on his car in the players' lot after the game. That is our AT&T tweet of the game there. Pretty good one. Just so close. And he probably didn't sleep well the past 2 nights, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Sometimes I watch that replay and I feel like I see the ball maybe glance just the slightest. It's just so hard to say. I don't know.
Yeah, there was nothing in there to overturn the call made by Doug Eddings on the foul ball, so you got to run with it. But good grief, Chris Young, you got to wonder how many black cats have run out in front of him, or any ladders he's walked under, broke a mirror or 2.
Done something wrong. Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah, it happened back-to-back nights. Having a rough season as it is, you don't want to see a guy go through more than he has to.
Takes a strike. It's 0-2. The music there,
yeah, I mean, that really brings it down for you. Look at the shame in that face.
Let's
on the
get
right.
Jim Nantz to narrate something right here. At the Masters this year,
I mean, he didn't even believe Robbie had that ball until Robbie showed him the baseball. He still thought it was out until that point.
0-2. Misses up and away. Yeah, Robbie Grossman was the culprit last night. I thought it was classic the way Chris Young said, "Let me see the ball."
It's like he was in court. I need to see the evidence.
Wouldn't that be the ideal? The outfielder goes up and over the wall, doesn't catch the fly ball, and then sprints on in as if he's got it in his glove, heads right into the dugout, and never has the baseball.
Would that have been the best hidden ball trick ever?
I think so. You think it's ever been done? I'll bet it has.
Oh my goodness.
I used to always wonder if an outfielder would have the presence of mind to put a ball in his back pocket and then have that sort of play happen to where when you come back down, you grab the baseball, stick it in your glove, and show it. Here you go. I've got it right here.
That might have worked well in 1932. There's too many cameras around these ballparks these days to get away with anything.
1932, huh?
I'm not sure if they had TV back then. Did they, Ash? Sorry.
That is just absolutely wrong on your part. Multiple levels. The 1-2 is low.
See his lips as Robbie's running by. Let me see that thing. Right here.
It's
Robbie's
right
got to
here.
show it to everybody.
It's right here, buddy.
Chris is such a good guy, too.
Yeah.
Played with him in Arizona the last 2 years. And pretty good disposition about him. Likes playing the game. Wants to win worse than anybody else. Just snake bit.
Fouls it back, stays at 2-2. I couldn't tell if Robbie Grossman was feeling a little bit indignant right there or just.
Oh, I think Robbie was pretty happy with himself in the play he just made.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, who can blame him?
On the whole of the night, it was Brandon Barnes that seemed to be everywhere. I wasn't going to be surprised if he picked up some ground balls in the infield and threw guys out. Ground ball foul outside the bag at third. We stay at 2-2.
I think it's a nice little center field left field combo with Brandon Barnes and Robbie Grossman. I've seen Robbie in center field a little bit. Good, not great. But in left field, it seems he's found his home. We saw some good sliding catches on him in Baltimore, coming in, making some good plays. And last night going back to the wall.
Bedard, the 2-2 once again, and misses inside. Well, as you talk about Chris Young and the type of person he is and the tools that he has, 32 bombs he hit back in 2007. That was just his first full year in the big leagues with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's hit 142 long balls on his career.
Oh, he's got some kind of pop.
So he's loaded.
Talent. He can play a center field too. He's great out there. Still putting together some pretty good ABs, especially against the Houston Astros. He's only hitting $192 on the year, but between that and the bad luck he's had the last 2 days.
He's also a guy that runs very well. 120 career stolen bases. Gets a piece, fouls it off. It stays filled. He's stolen 27, 28, and 22 in 3 different seasons. Well, you're talking about that rare talent, the home run power, and the ability to steal bags. Just the second inning, 3-0 Oakland. And the pitch again is fouled as it's drilled into the seats down the left side.
Pew. You gotta watch your lips down there.
Watch those lips is right.
Ball skated off about 3-4 people before it got up.
And now Corcoran goes out to the mound. Trying to come up with a solution to the anti-foul ball pitch.
And probably just to give Bedard a breather, even though he is taking a pretty good amount of time in between each pitch to gather himself. But Probably going out there, like you said, trying to figure out something that we can get a swing and miss on.
Even take that sharply hit ground ball hit right to shortstop. Instead, a line drive hooking foul. On a regular night game, does that bullpen clear out on that shot, and on a day game they just sit still?
Guess so. He had a pretty good read on it. Chris Young is endearing himself to these fans by doling out souvenirs with each swing of the bat. Except for maybe that last one. I think it knocked a couple people down.
Once again, Bedard with the 3-2 pitch. And again, it is souvenir time. Back deep into that lower tank down the left field side.
Not sure who rubs up the baseballs here in Oakland, but he's probably back up underneath that clubhouse right now trying to rub up a couple extra dozen after this at bat.
Going to take some mad skills here pretty soon. Game has hit a bit of a halt right here. The 3-2 once again, and got him swinging. Looked like the changeup from Eric Bedard up out of the strike zone, but fortunately for Bedard, Chris Young in that swinging mode goes after it.
Now we got a chance to look at some of that defense from last night. Brandon Barnes with great shoestring catch on a tough line drive. Play again up against the wall, which he has no fear throwing his body in front of, but this play right here was Sogard in scoring position, made the decision to tag up on him. Gets thrown out at third base to end that inning, and then the big jump and catch by Robbie Grossman to save Lucas Harrell's night and ruin Chris Young's.
First pitch fouled off on the right side as Jed Lowry stands in. Leadoff walk to Derek Norris here in the second inning. He's still at first base. So we see that Major League Baseball has decided to expand instant replay in 2014 and give managers a chance to question calls.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I do too. Breaking ball grounded back to the mound. Nice play by Bedard. He'll turn and throw out Lowry, and that'll do it for the A's in the second inning. It's 3-0, Oakland on top.
Top of the third. 80 teams, 20 courts, nearly 8,000 athletes from across Texas compete in the nation's top high school volleyball tournament, the 2013 Texas Volleyball Invitational, this Saturday at 1 and 4 only on Comcast Sportsnet. I hear Jeff Blum has a pretty good jump serve.
Oh, no doubt. All my years on the beach.
No doubt,
beach volleyball skills, yeah.
You turn right to no doubt when she praises you, huh?
Well, she knows I'm a Southern California guy. Been around the volleyball net a couple times.
So am I, but I can't get up at all.
Big overhand smashes. Sounds like a personal issue, Ash.
You just continue to go in those areas that you leave me frozen. We've played 2 whole innings here this afternoon. For the Astros, trailing 3-0, 8-9-1 coming up. Brandon Barnes, Jonathan VR, and Robbie Grossman. We'll see if they have some answers. For Brandon Barnes, batting average at .238. So we mentioned just before the end of that bottom of the 2nd inning that Major League Baseball is expanding the replay system for next year. But Selig said yesterday, and I guess that's today, that Major League Baseball plans to expand its video review process. They'll give managers the tool they've never had in an effort to dramatically reduce the number of incorrect calls made in games. 2-0 the count on Barnes.
Are there any plays you want to see replayed more? When they finally make a decision on what's going to be replayed, is there one that really sticks out for you?
You know, it's funny you asked that question. A lot of the times I feel like I feel very adamant as the strike is called that, well, this is the type of play you need to have reviewed. And maybe one of those that comes to me at the time is the tag play at the plate. Is a guy safe or out? And we've seen so many of those called wrong. And I think that's one. If the replay gives you the obvious answer that the call on the field was made wrong, then I think it's ideal to be able to change that.
Was it last year in Atlanta when the Pirates were having a pretty good stretch and they clearly got Julio Lugo at home plate? He was called safe. From there on out, their season kind of tail spun into the ground. Boston and Tampa Bay had a call earlier this year that had an effect on them. I mean, with the expanded playoffs now with 2 wild cards, you're affecting some teams' postseason chances. So I think that's a good call.
Breaking ball got him looking. Barnes down on strikes. And Sonny Gray is showing a strikeout pitcher early on. That's 4. From last night, Jonathan VR, 3 knocks on his night.
I think the best part of these highlights is left-handed. He's going the other way, doing a good job of getting on top of some pitches. But that's where, if he can stay in that zone, up the middle, the other way, he's going to have a fantastic career. Because the more he's on base, the more fun he's going to have running around and helping these Astros out by stealing some bags. There you can see most of his hits, when he does get them, are going up the middle and the other way.
And that is a left-hand hitter. So it tells you specifically how much he stays on the baseball, hits it the other way. Well, he's done a great job turning things around here of late, now hitting .254 after the 3 hits from last night. He had hit the skids after a great start to his big league career.
Pretty good day for a couple of those. Good seats, beautiful weather, sun's out. Home team has 3 runs on the board for the youngster Sonny Gray.
Little dribbler toward the mound. Gray on it, uses 2 hands and makes the play. That's 2 down here in the top of the 3rd inning, and back to the top with Robbie Grossman. So what's the play that you have in mind that you'd like to see that video replay come involved with?
Some of these fair foul calls down the lines. There was a couple of years back, the playoff game in New York where the ball bounced foul. It was called fairs. I mean, you know, some of those things, the fair foul ones are going to come in pretty handy. But I like your call at home plate, those tag plays, because those do get kind of sketchy, and sometimes, you know, depending on the situation and where umpires are positioned, they can get blocked out by some of these plays, and catchers are getting better at. Some are getting better at blocking. Some are just getting better at catching the ball and making some fantastic tags on creative slides by base runners. So get kind of lost in the shuffle. And I would like to see that if there's a chance for a run to be scored, they take a look at that and confirm whether or not that run scores, because it has impact on some games down the stretch.
How about tag plays at the other bases?
I don't know. You got to put a limit on it somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I imagine that since they did approve the expansion of replay, they're going to argue that out, talk about it a little bit. But I think limiting the chances that a manager has to go to the instant replay is going to help speed up the game and make his choices on which calls he wants reversed.
Now, I'm assuming that the home run replays, the question marks like we had here in game 1 of the series, those will fall outside of the parameters of the managers getting 3 times where they can ask for a replay.
I would imagine those turn into goal line stands, much like the NFL, where they just immediately go, any scoring opportunity like that, they just immediately go to the booth and figure out if that's a fair foul home run or if it made it over the fence.
Line drive just past a diving Cayaspo. That's a base hit for Robbie Grossman. First base hit of the afternoon for Houston. They had one other base runner. That was Chris Carter with a walk in the 2nd inning. So the Astros now have a hit on the board. It brings up Brett Wallace.
Good breaking ball by Gray, but Robbie Grossman struck out on that in his first at bat. Now his 2nd time seeing it, gets it one in the zone, shoots it back up the middle. Pretty good piece of hitting.
Grossman aboard. The Astros down 3, and that limits the chances for any kind of running game. Sonny Gray shooting for his first big league victory.
And it's yet to be seen with instant replay, but I think it should cut down on the amount of arguments that do go on during games, which would be a huge bonus for pace of game.
People talk about, well, replay will just slow down the games. I think they could actually turn it the other way and speed them up.
I agree.
If done correctly, and of course only you and I know exactly how to do it correctly, but
I think it'll make umpires better too. Knowing that they're going to be backed up by instant replay, it's going to cause them to be in better position and really focus on making the correct calls. Not that they don't, but it's going to put a little more emphasis on what they're doing.
Well, I think there are plenty of times when you can say it wasn't an ideal position the umpire was in on this particular play.
Well, and we saw a situation last night on Brandon Barnes' fly ball, throw to third base to get Sogard in the tag, and the ball clearly beat Sogard. It's just a question mark of whether or not the tag was there in time or if Sogard got his hand in there. So I've seen plenty of times where the ball beats a guy and he's automatically called out by the umpire, and sometimes you look at replay and he may be safe.
3-1 the count now on Brett Wallace. So if the managers have the discretion to say, I want this play reviewed, do you think there will be limitations on plays like that tag play at third? Like they may say, here are the types of plays that you can ask for a review on, and it may not include that tag play.
I think they've learned a lot from the NHL, the NFL, NBA, the way they handle some situations, and I know that I would imagine there's going to be some limitations on what they can and can't question.
Here's the play from last night that Jeff's talking about.
The ball clearly beats him. It's just whether or not that tag gets in there. And Doug Eddings did a good job of getting in there and getting a good look at it. But sometimes you miss what's happening on the backside of that bag, which is Sogard's right hand, which I'm sure is what made him upset. He felt he got that thing in there before the tag.
3-2 to Wallace, runner going, and it's fouled at the plate. That wasn't the ideal glove and snap down tag at third base. And I think it also might lend to infielders possibly learning a little better way to do that snap down type tag. Once you start reaching, you lose time.
Try and tag in front of the bag as opposed to trying to go get the guy and tag the player.
Right. Once you reach, you're just losing space. Down on strikes, Brett Wallace, 2nd in the inning, 5th on the afternoon for Sonny Gray, who is finding the weather just perfect here in Oakland.
And Astros Trivia is going to be brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Can you name the last player to win a batting title in a season which they played for more than one team? Who trades or gets rid of a batting leader? It's a tough call.
Yeah, that is. I'm thinking that might have happened with a guy named Harvey Keene a long time ago, but I don't think that's the last one. 1990 we're hearing. So that should help some folks out. The pitch is swung on and fouled back by Josh Donaldson. It's 0-2 now as Bedard gets in front. 3-4-5 for the Oakland A's as they lead 3-zip. Donaldson drew a walk and scored. That was run number 3 for the A's in the first.
Carney Lansford.
1990. That would
he was on a couple of those Oakland A teams that went to the World Series.
Bill Madlock, I'm wondering if he would have possibly have been involved at that time. Oh, and to the count. And Bedard close but misses. Paul Nauert didn't like it behind the plate. We've seen some liberal strike zones at times here in the series. Good looking pitch. And you have to wonder what Nauert would say he didn't like about that pitch. Strike 3 is called. Donaldson caught looking after watching 2 very close pitches. For Bedard, his 4th strikeout of the afternoon.
Tried to paint that inside corner, comes back and paints that outside corner. Good pitch. You see Carlos Corporon sticking it.
One out, cleanup man. Yoenis Cespedes comes to the plate. Cespedes struck out in the first inning. That was the first of 4 here this afternoon for Bedard. Breaking ball, little thummer going to drop in right field for a base hit. First hit for the A's since that 3-run first inning, and the 4th on the afternoon for Oakland.
I don't think that was the yo power that fan was looking for, but just enough to sneak it into shallow right field for a knock.
Brings up Nate Fryman, who had a huge swing as he hit one right over the bag at first down the right field line, a 2-run double. That provided runs 2 and 3 for the A's in that first. And again, Bedard right on the money, and Nauert doesn't like it.
Fryman's a jittery kind of guy in the box for being such a large human being.
Makes me think of Frank Howard way back when.
He had some kind of pop.
6'8", and it's kind of that same frame, at least when Howard was younger. 1-1 the count on Fryman. Fryman now hitting .272. And out to be for a season in which Fryman has limited playing time, pretty solid year.
Well, the Oakland A's are still in contention, only a couple games back in the West, and Bob Melvin thinks enough of them to throw him out there against a left-handed pitcher in a pennant race.
Especially after the A's have lost 2 straight. And as we mentioned, they've lost 9 of their last 13. So it's not the best of times for the Oakland A's. News in St. Louis, the Cardinals have activated their all-star catcher Yadier Molina. He's been on the DL.
Good look at those AL West standings. Only 2 games back. They were down by a lot more last year and came back and came from behind and won the West over the Rangers.
And I was thinking with Molina being activated for the Cardinals, the Cards start the day 3 games back of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Of the who?
Yeah. And the Cincinnati Reds look out, are just 3.5 back. Runner goes, pitch hammered high and deep left field. Grossman back to the wall, leaps, can't get this one. It's a 2-run home run for Nate Fryman, and he makes it 5-0 Oakland. And Fryman with 4 of the 5 RBIs, and he's going to overtake a barely moving Yoenis Cespedes if he doesn't watch out. Boy, Cespedes broke that home run trot for Fryman down to nothing.
Makes for good TV. But Nate Fryman is just terrorizing the Houston Astros, letting them know what they missed out on by letting him go.
All 3 of the home runs for Fryman this year coming against the Astros. So a 1-out jam shot single by Cespedes, followed by the home run from Fryman. And the A's laying it on early. Ball shot foul on the ground left side. Big man with extension. Robbie had high hopes, but little too much here.
Yeah, he's got pretty good experience with that wall. One good, one not so good. That one out of his reach.
Breaking ball in for a called strike. 1-2 the count. Does that same ball hit by Fryman get out last night?
No, he catches that thing on the warning track, no problem.
It appeared last night some balls were getting crushed and just couldn't get out of here. This pitch is hammered down the left field side at the wall. It goes foul. No questions about this one from Alberto Callaspo. That foul pole. None of us know if it hit that ball from Chris Young a couple of nights ago. Closest of replays that I think I've ever witnessed. Bedard's 1-2 for a ball chopped to third. 2 big hops for Dominguez. He'll make the play. Second out here in the 3rd inning. It'll bring up right fielder Josh Reddick.
Just came out to the Rocks theme music. Got the belt held up for him.
You into that sort of thing?
You know what? When I was a kid, WWF was getting pretty big. You know, Mean Gene and
no, I don't.
Jimmy the Superfly Snuka.
Yeah, he was one
Some
of my
those
faves.
guys. Junkyard Dog. Rowdy Roddy.
Yeah, actually, there's one name I do recall.
There's some good guys back then. Randy the Macho Man Savage. But of recent years, no.
Ball hit in the air, going to drop in shallow right center field. Another thumber as Reddick picks it up. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. 3rd hit here in the 3rd inning. Eric Bedard getting touched with sharply hit balls and some not so much.
Yeah, he's trying everything he can. He's getting some good blow-up jobs. They're just continuing to find holes. The ones he is leaving out over the plate are getting ripped. One of those days.
What do? You stand there on the mound and look around, maybe looking for answers?
I don't know. I'd probably end up drilling the next guy. That's probably why I wasn't a pitcher. And anger issues.
Right here we can all say thank you. Catcher Derek Norris stands in. He drew a walk his first plate appearance. Pops it up. Wallace gives chase and makes the catch. On the move going down that right field side. Not an easy play in dealing with the sun. So Norris pops out. That does it for the A's. They pick a pair in the 3rd inning on the 2-run dinger by Nate Fryman. It's 5-0 A's on top.
Go back to Astros trivia that's brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. And the last player to win a batting title playing for more than one team in a season? Of course, it's Willie McGee. St. Louis Cardinals and Oakland Athletics in 1990. And I did not know that.
Switch hitter. He could run. He was part of that Whitey ball in St. Louis for a number of years, and
just slap and run.
Slap and run. And
him, Vince Coleman.
He could pop it every once in a while. MVP. We go to the fourth inning. 5-0 A's on top. Jose Altuve, the three-hitter, leads it off and takes down and away. 5 strikeouts already for the conundrum himself, Sonny Gray. Altuve picked up one of those strikeouts in the first inning. It's a ball and a strike.
The next strikeout for Sonny will be his career high. He had 5 strikeouts against Toronto earlier in this year.
Jose Altuve on a 6-game hitting streak. Derek Norris out to the mound, feeling things had sped up just a little too much. Altuve, with a season-high 11-game hitting streak earlier in the season, takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Jose was 2 for 5 in last night's game. And I mean, he was taking some big-time power hacks late in the game. See where the Washington Nationals have recalled one of their big stars from the bullpen from the past, Drew Storen. He was sent down to AAA. Ball is hammered to center field, going back with room as Young. He'll make the catch. 1 up, 1 down here in the fourth inning. Brings up the cleanup man, getting the start as the catcher today, Carlos Corporon. Carlos grounded out to second base as he led off the second inning. Drills one foul down the right field side. 1 hop into the seats. We'll all be glad to find that Alex Rodriguez has added another high-profile attorney to his legal team. Somebody by the name of Joe Tacopino. Ball hit in the air to center field. Coming on is Young. He'll make the catch. 2 down on fly balls to center field here in the fourth. It'll bring up the DH, Chris Carter.
MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. Were you just talking about Mexican food?
I was thinking about it. I didn't think it came out of my mouth, though.
I thought there was some new meal out there called a Taco Pino.
You know what? It actually it sounds good.
Maybe a taco.
How do you dress that thing?
Give me something to do when I go home.
Fly ball right center field. It is going to be Young making the third catch in the inning. All fly balls to center field as Young calls off Reddick to get that chance to tie the mark, a 1-2-3 frame.
Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience. We welcome you back to HOU Coliseum, where most of the top deck is closed off. I say most because there is one section up here on level 300, the value deck. It's perfect for families who can buy a ticket and get concessions with their tickets. Also right behind home plate, great seats. Might be the loudest fans in this ballpark, guys.
Thanks, Julia.
I was wondering what that ruckus was up there. Julia's up there stirring it up.
Find some Astros fans up there, Julia. Yeah, I see a few.
Good for them.
5-0, the A's on top. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Eric Sogard, the 9-hitter, leads it off. Sogard struck out in the second. Hitting .272. Now you really messed me up, Blummer, with that Tacopina talk, and I'm fired up for some Mexican food this evening.
Some good places down south to get them.
Strike on the outside edge. It's a ball and a strike. Make that 2-1 now on Sogard. So Bedard immediately falls behind. He's walked a couple. Donaldson and Norris. 6 hits for the A's, 1 for Houston. That lone hit for the Astros picked up by Robbie Grossman. Under the knees, it's a leadoff walk. Goes Sogard aboard for the top of the order. Chris Young comes to the plate.
Well, with Julia being in the upper deck, I'm sure on her way down she could probably find some place that could get you a nice burrito. Bring it back down to the booth, get you through this ball game.
I won't complain.
Not me neither.
Of course, I'm not sure, based on the season to this point, that Julia's a team player in that regard.
She seems to keep it for herself, doesn't she?
Young at the plate has singled and scored in the first and then struck out.
Fourth inning, and next pitch is going to be Eric Bedard's 75th.
Starts with a breaking ball that misses away.
Bedard feels like that pitch is a strike. Paul Nauert's not giving it to him. He feels that ball's breaking around the plate.
Now, Bedard's also had some fastballs that appear to be right at or near the knees and on edges that he hasn't gotten strike calls with. Now, that umpire combination with a pitcher can make or break an afternoon.
Sure can. We saw it last night. It was a pitcher's duel between Jared Parker and Jared Cozart, mostly because Angel Hernandez had a pretty wide zone.
Pop up on the right side. Wallace in foul territory again, battling, and makes the catch. And that flinch right at the last moment almost said, uh-oh. Tough guy to deal with.
Outs is outs. Sometimes
Outs
it looks
outs.
like that ball catches him a little bit. Oakland's notorious for being a tough sky, but
no glasses on for Wallace.
sans glasses. Interesting choice. Flip downs are always available, but this one right on top of his nose.
You see the eyes avert there at the last moment. 1 out brings up Jed Lowry. I've had managers that I played for that said, if you're not going to wear the glasses out there, you better make the catch.
Wasn't it in spring training we had that game in George Springer?
That was classic.
That was so great. That was a kid getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar situation.
Glasses on the top of his hat, and a ball dropped in center field. And as he walked away from the play, he turned his back to home plate and put the glasses down over his eyes.
He'll slide.
I thought that was a veteran move.
Great.
Kid showed me with that one play that he's ready to play here at this level.
That was good stuff. And it happens. You play long enough, you're going to find yourself in some awkward situations. This game will expose you at times.
Lowry has doubled and grounded back to the mound.
I remember I was early in my career. I was still with Montreal and playing in LA. They had those pastel colored seats during a day game, and they had the yellow ones around that first level, and Devon White's leading off the game, and I'm playing third base, and he takes a swing. I never see the ball, and I feel something hit the outside of my shoe. Turn around, and it was a base hit to left field. I had no idea where the ball went, and that's when I tried the sunglasses, and that didn't go well either. So try to do everything you can. Sometimes
ball hits your shoe going by on it.
Oh yeah, he ripped it. I didn't move. I heard a swing, crack of the bat, felt something on the outside of my shoe, and I turned around, and the ball's going past me into left field.
Trainer and manager come out to take care of their third baseman.
Yeah, they shook my head real hard, trying to get me back in the game.
Pitch is popped up shallow into left center field. Backing now. VR and glasses gleaming. He makes the catch. Well, you can see with VR and the glasses right there how much of a battle it may be with that sun. So it's actually rather impressive that Wallace was able to make the play he did make.
Yeah, and he's moving quite a ways into foul territory to do that. And you see the shadows on these ball players are pretty much straight down. So that sun is right on top of the field. No clouds whatsoever. And I remember watching some highlights of Mike Trout, Josh Hamilton out there colliding into each other, letting a couple balls drop because they thought they had a beat on it, and it wasn't where they thought it was.
Third baseman Josh Donaldson stands in. He's walked and scored and struck out looking. Bedard with the changeup away. The Yankees have already hosted the LA Angels of Anaheim, who happen to be in New York presently. And no doubt scurrying toward an airplane to head back to Southern California, as the Astros will head in that direction themselves and hook up a 3-game series starting tomorrow night. But the Yankees were beaten by the Angels today 8-4. Mike Trout 1 for 3 in the game, hitting .330 on another spectacular season.
So much for the sophomore slump theory.
Yeah, got off to a bit of a slow start, but he's just too good. His talent just overcomes.
I agree, he's that good. Caught myself in the food room today. The game was on TV, and I saw, I'm glancing around the room. We're having a good conversation. I looked up and saw Mike Trout. He's one of those guys that I will watch his at bats just to see what he does.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. He's a compelling player. Another guy that's been rather compelling of late for the Yankees, who came over from the Cubs, Alfonso Soriano, was 4 for 5 in that game. Ground ball to third. Dominguez takes a peek at second, but goes on to first to get the out. And that does it for the A's. After the leadoff walk, they strand things, but lead it 5-zip.
Five to nothing. Looking for the perfect way to combine business and baseball, or a unique space to hold your next event? With state-of-the-art meeting spaces, Minute Maid Park can surpass all of your needs. Call 713-259-88 800 for more information. Don't forget to ask about softball games and batting practice. Good old Lombard Street right there in San Francisco.
You made that drive?
Oh, I've made that drive. Do you know why that street is like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you enlighten us?
I was on the same bus you were on, pal.
Yeah, that bus driver was a wealth of information. I appreciated that.
It's the way a lot of the streets used to be in San Francisco, and I guess with time it wasn't needed. They wanted to make sure that there was a way for the horse-drawn carriages to be able to get up and down the streets, and therefore they would wind them like that, and that is, I won't say the only one that remains, but certainly one that remains.
Definitely the most famous.
5-0 A's. We go to the 5th inning. 6, 7, 8 coming up. Mark Krause leads it off against right-hander Sonny Gray in his second major league start. Chopper first base side on 2 big hops taken by Fryman. He'll go to the bag, and just like that, out number 1 here in the 5th. We mentioned the Yankees having played the Angels earlier today, and the Angels winning it 8-4. Alex Rodriguez had a pair of hits in 5 at-bats, hitting .278. So A-Rod doing okay, I guess, with the Yankees.
Should.
Would you like to enlighten us as to why?
He's got the talent and other things going for him.
1 out for Matt Dominguez, who takes a strike. He's also got teammate Robinson Cano, who was 3 for 5 in the game, hitting .300. The Yankees are starting to look like the Yankees once again in terms of names in the order, but I think it might be too late. The Yankees have spent the hook on the season. Yankees 4th place in the American League East. Make that 8.5 games back at the start of play today. Boston Red Sox leading by 3 over Tampa Bay. 1-2 the count on Dominguez. Matt 0 for 1 on the afternoon, grounded into a fielder's choice to end the second. We mentioned the Texas Rangers lead the American League West by 2 games over these Oakland A's, and the Rangers can certainly thank the Astros for that lead right now. The Tigers with a healthy 6-game lead in the Central over Cleveland. 7.5 on top of Kansas City. Did you think the Kansas City Royals this stage of the year would be 6 games over 500?
I'm not too surprised by that. The moves they made in the offseason, you know, and bolstering that pitching staff in that big ballpark at Kauffman Stadium. Got some guys that can swing the bats. I'm not too surprised at all. Their bullpen is what shocked me when we went through there. Is watching those guys come out of there throwing 95 plus, every single one of them with a pretty good breaking pitch to put guys away.
2-2. Dominguez checks his swing, or did he? They'll appeal down to first, and yes, he did check it. Doug Eddings says no swing. 16,487 on hand here at the HOU Coliseum this afternoon. They do have officially the quickest bean counters in baseball.
How do they know more people aren't going to show up? You know, they figure they max out
could just be a little bit late.
Yeah.
I mean, if you did attendance at Dodger Stadium or Anaheim this early, you'd probably miss by about 5,000 fans.
So true. Got to catch that count between the 6th and 8th innings. That's at the height of the attendance.
Once they've arrived and before they leave, huh?
Yeah, they show up, grab a couple concessions, watch about 45 pitches, and go for it. Beat that traffic.
Dodgers have had a great year at the turnstiles.
Watching a good ball club right now. Won 40 of their last 48 or something ludicrous.
Right on a record-setting pace. Little dribbler right off the end of the bat on the first base side, handled by Gray. He'll feed Fryman, and 2 outs here in the 5th inning. And is Don Mattingly going to be the manager of the year come the end of the season? A guy that almost got fired about, I guess they're saying maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Well, it cracked me up that he gets ridiculed for calling his players out, trying to motivate them through the media and saying he expects a little more intensity out of them. And now Now they're praising him. How quickly the minds can be changed.
The media there in LA.
There's media there?
Oh.
Pretty big market.
A market that extends so far they claim the Angels as their own.
Well, nobody ever overreacts.
The LA Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah. Just rolls off the tongue.
The St. Pete Rays of Tampa. No, they would be the Tampa Bay Rays of St. Pete is what they would be. That would be more accurate.
You know you're good if you can take up 2 locations with one team.
Bitter rivals on top of that. I've got to imagine that folks that live in Anaheim are just not pleased about that at all. Swing and a miss. Brandon Barnes struck out in the 3rd inning. Sees the count at 1-2, and Brandon continues to have those struggles against right-hand pitching. If Brandon could solve this part of his game, he could blossom into a star center fielder. A half swing fouled back to the screen. Defensively, he's played as well as anybody we've watched this year in center.
There's no doubt about that. Continues to work hard. You see him in the cage every day doing his work.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder about the modern player maybe going overboard in that regard. A little wave through. He's down on strike. 2nd time on the afternoon. 6 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. A 1-2-3 5th inning as the A's lead it.
The Astros. Love the Astros' new look. Saturday, August 24th, Coca-Cola is giving out 10,000 replica orange jerseys prior to the 6-10 game against the Toronto Blue Jays. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets, guys.
Thanks, Julia. You know, just smelling the scents here at the ballpark, I would say you were very close with something to eat. That's just the way it smells at the yard.
Yeah, rumor has it.
Rumor has it. And you guys want whatever I'm around.
Yes. See if you can come on up this way to the booth and bring some food. Line shot and a leaping grab at shortstop Jonathan Villar, out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 5-0 A's on top as Julia, no doubt somewhere, enjoying a meal.
Cespedes has been swinging a hot bat. It's a good thing he hit it somewhere in the vicinity of Villar to make the play.
Nate Fryman has been the big man all the way around here this afternoon. He has doubled in a pair in the 1st inning and homered a 2-run shot in the 3rd inning. And now lines one to left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Fryman just tearing up number 1, the Houston Astros this year, and number 2, left-hand pitching.
Well, his first 2 at-bats is pretty good hitting by Nate Fryman. Thank goodness nobody was on base, but the first one was a little accidental. Kind of pokes it down that right field line, sneaks it within, but this one left no doubt in the mind that he got the barrel on it. Even driving it over the glove of Robbie Grossman in this last swing on that first pitch. Nice solid line drive into center field.
So Nate Fryman 3 for 3 on the afternoon, and is now, as it's been said thousands of times, a triple shy of the cycle here this afternoon. Just a triple shy. Alberto Callaspo stands in 0 for 2. Fryman a very short lead at first base. Pitch is popped up down the right side. Wallace giving chase and over the shoulder, unable to make this play. A tough play.
That is a tough play going backwards. Got your back to the ball trying to catch it over your head.
Jose Altuve may not have had a shot to get to this ball, but you could see he pulled up a little early, and Brett Wallace unable to come up with it.
Well, you talk about the quad issue that Altuve has, and we see him running the bases, some of the issues he's had. But it also comes into play when you're out there playing the infield. It cuts down on your range. When you know you got that quad, you can't make it quite where you normally would.
1-1 pitch. The change is low.
And I don't want to see a cycle against the Astros. I'm not cheering for this situation, but it would be entertaining to see a man Nate Fryman's size trying to go for 3. Be a lot of knees and elbows flying around those base paths trying to get him all the way around to third base on a hit.
Well, we had the privilege of getting to meet Nate Fryman back in spring training when he was with the Astros, and just a cool guy. Very easy guy to root for. The Astros bullpen now will get busy down the right field side. It'll be Lucas Harrell getting loose now as the walk is issued to Callaspo. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Right fielder Josh Reddick comes to the plate, so the pop fly doesn't get handled, and Callaspo eventually reaches.
Doug Brocail is going to come out and have a visit with Eric Bedard, and this is a standard procedure for the Houston Astros, allowing Lucas Harrell down in the bullpen to start getting loose, give him a couple extra tosses. But you can see the pitch count in the 5th inning at 94 pitches. There's been a base runner on every inning against Eric Bedard, whether it be a hit or a walk. So he's had some high stress innings with runners on base. A little love between the catcher and pitching coach.
Home plate umpire comes out. That's Paul Nauert, and breaks things up. Brocail heads on back to that first base dugout. That's a long run. Just enormous foul territories here. Jose Altuve has been showing signs of getting better with that sore quad that he's been dealing with. Yeah, you can see the size of the foul territory, and it can be a nightmare at times. 1 out, runners at first and second. Reddick has flied out and singled. And now another meeting, and the fans react to this follow-up meeting by Carlos Corporan. I think even Paul Nauert wants to know, what's this all about? Let's go.
Obviously didn't get the scouting report.
Had he gotten it, he would realize, yeah. Bedard tries to get himself a double play grounder, but misses the strike zone. One-0 count, the pitch, breaking balls down and away. The Pirates and Cards have been at it. They're now in the 11th inning, tied at 5. That from St. Louis. Glenn Barmas and Russell Martin with dingers, both for the Pirates. Number 11 for Martin. 2-0 pitch is popped up on the left side. Glasses gleaming for Matt Dominguez, but calling. He'll make the catch. That's 2 down in the inning. Boy, it would certainly appear from the infielders on the left side anyway that the glasses are much needed, and yet Brett Wallace has gone without here this afternoon.
Speaking of sunglasses, Ash.
Yeah?
Let's take a look back. This was earlier in spring training. George Springer out in center field. You see the glove up with no sunglasses at Kissimmee. Loses that fly ball. Watch the sneaky little maneuver right here. Maybe they won't notice a thing if I put these sunglasses back on my eyes.
Don't forget the part about keeping your back to home plate.
Yep. Well, back to the coaching staff, who's probably got a pretty keen eye on you right there in that situation.
So that's 2 outs on the pop-up by Reddick, and now Bo Porter's coming out to the hill. This is a mandated change. Second meeting here in the inning as the right-hand hitting catcher Derek Norris will come to the plate. Lucas Harrell summoned from that right field pen. He'll jog it in as the Astros trail 5-0 here in the 5th inning. Lucas Harrell now working in a second straight game.
And we've got a minute. Why don't we take a look inside the lines? That's brought to you by Scotch Blue Painter's Tape. Scotch Blue, see what you can do. We're going to flash back to some of these tight ball games against the Oakland A's. And it was on July 22nd, Josh Reddick hit that 2-run home run in the 8th to give Oakland the 4-3 win. Very next day, Villar is on the base pass, wreaking havoc on the Athletics defense, and this throw gets away, allowing Villar to come in and score that game-winning run, which was the first win of the year for the Astros against the Athletics. And again, the very next day, July 24th, Chris' 2-run home run capped a 3-run 7th in an A's 4-3 win. All of these 1-run games adding up. And just recently, first game of this series here in Oakland, a home run that could have been but wasn't. Game-winning home run for Chris Young, and the same guy the next night was robbed by Robbie Grossman on a pretty good time jump. Take that ball away from Chris Young, and I'm sure if you ask him right now, he still can't believe what's happened to him in the last 2 nights.
Some of the numbers in those games since the All-Star break. The Astros 3-2 against these Oakland A's. It's turning around. It's not a full turnaround yet by any stretch of the imagination, but the Astros out hitting the A's. The A's have out homered Houston in that span, but Astros scoring a bit more, and the team ERA would certainly reflect that. Yeah, the Astros 3-11 against the Oakland A's on the season. Season that started with the A's winning the first 10 meetings. Eric Bedard maybe didn't have the best of luck here this afternoon. Trails 5-0 as he leaves. And now it's in the hands of Lucas Harrell.
See the numbers, broke the season in the Astros rotation. Those walk numbers continue to pile up, base runners continuing to get on, and Lucas Harrell couldn't keep them from scoring. Thus the ERA at 5.3, but the 16 home runs allowed is a gigantic number for what should be a pretty good sinker ball pitcher.
Harrell worked an inning yesterday against the A's. And his first pitch misses up and away. Outing number 28 for Lucas, 8th as a reliever. 16 long balls allowed in 125 innings. But again, the 70 walks, that's the number that probably for me most jumps out.
Could have been 17 long balls and another loss, but instead Robbie Grossman bailed him out. And as they call it in the clubhouse, Lucas Harrell vulture to win right there. Swooped in and got it.
5-13 on his season now.
Yeah, those walks are amazing though.
Yeah, and you factor the 70 walks in with a batting average against of 281, the whip at 165. Tough to be successful with those numbers. Checking the runner at second base. Harrell's pitch is hit in the air and deep toward left field. Grossman on the move back, and just before getting to the track makes the catch. That'll do it for the A's in the 5th inning. Harrell comes on and gets the final out. It's still 5-0.
back by popular demand. Friday, August 23rd is Dollar Dog Night. Enjoy $1 hot dogs all game long as the Astros take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Be sure to stick around for the post-game fireworks. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets. Big day, Ash. Big day.
That hot dog day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hot dog and fireworks?
Wow. Whew, great combo. Kids having some fun, even the adults here at the ballpark today. 5-0 Oakland A's lead, and Astros fans still waiting for some of the fireworks to happen offensively. Taking in the sun.
Great day for it.
Nothing but sun to be had. Still haven't seen a cloud this afternoon. Have seen a little bit of cotton candy.
It's amazing.
Here in the 6th inning, it'll be 9-1-2 coming up for Houston. Jonathan Villar leads it off. Grounded back to the mound in the 3rd inning. Sonny Gray has been living up to the billing here this afternoon. Really good.
Good fastball, good curveball, and there's only been one answer for it. That was Robbie Grossman with a bullet up the middle. Since then, before and since, not much action.
Want to know the count. VR with the 3 hits last night, hitting .250. 20 games in the big leagues under his belt. He drives one to center field. Going back is Young on the move, makes the catch. Crossing onto the warning track. VR stings it, but it's the first out here in the 6th inning. Yeah, there's some of that center fielder ability you talked about from Young.
Makes it look easy, too. Just gliding back there. Makes a great grab. VR's been swinging the bat well of late. Hit that ball extremely well. Just not enough to get it over CY's head.
But you like at bats like that, especially when you're looking at the young guy and trying to evaluate maybe who he is as a big league hitter. Leadoff man Robbie Grossman, 1 for 2 with a single. And again, that's the only Houston hit on the afternoon.
It was a rare changeup from Sonny Gray.
6 strikeouts on the afternoon for Gray.
Another opposing pitcher with a career high against the Astros.
I think that was the 2nd straight change. Somebody's ailing down there in the seats. Ground ball shot through the right side. 2nd hit on the afternoon for Robbie Grossman. He's aboard with 1 out for Brett Wallace.
Providing the only offense this afternoon for the Astros. Robbie Grossman with his 2nd hit. Turned on a fastball right here. A couple of changeups early in the count. I wonder if that's because he got a base hit on that breaking ball earlier, but right here ready for that heater and turned on it.
Robbie Grossman 2 for 3 on the day. Brett Wallace has softly lined out and struck out, 0 for 2. First pitch swinging, fouls it at the plate.
That's what we were talking about. That changeup is pretty rare for Sonny Gray. He's got the slider also, gets hit pretty hard, but majority of the time it's that fastball breaking ball combo. It's a good thing when you're averaging 94 miles an hour and you can break off a hammer every once in a while. It's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
There's the changeup again. Starting to see that pitch be a part of the repertoire here in the 6th inning.
And the only bad thing about that, having good 1-2 punch, is that hitters may go up there and gamble on one pitch, and if you make a mistake with that one pitch, they're ready to hammer it.
One pitch just below the knees, inside edge.
If you say so.
That's an area that Eric Bedard tried to spot a few times early, didn't get the call, so it's been consistent. Not a strike for the home plate umpire, Paul Nauert.
I love hitting with Paul Nauert. He was a good guy, good conversation back there, tight zone.
So you're saying hitter friendly, and that would be what we've seen here this afternoon.
Yeah, you're not seeing many complaints from any of the hitters, much like we saw last night with Angel Hernandez. Josh Reddick was extremely upset with them. Jed Lowry had some issues with Angel.
Thing is, pitchers wind up generally knowing their place. If they act up on the hill, they're not going to get many calls. So they generally stay quiet. So this kind of an umpire will have an easier time. Wallace is caught looking as Sonny Gray gets that inside edge. His 7th strikeout, out number 2 here in the 6th inning. There's that same pitch, called a strike this time.
A little more appealing to Paul. That was a great pitch. I thought the one before could have been a call to strike, but that one definitely good enough for the punch out.
Brett Wallace falls into that category that we've talked about with some of the guys, Robbie Grossman and others, Jonathan VR, taking close pitches with 2 strikes far too often. Jose Altuve comes to the plate, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Falls behind immediately. The A's picked up 3 in the 1st inning. RBI double by Jed Lowry. And a 2-run double by Nate Fryman. They got 2 more in the 3rd inning, a 2-run dinger by Fryman. He's 3 for 3 on the afternoon, lacking that triple for the cycle. Fly ball right center field. Young moving over. He gets there and makes the catch. The Astros pick up a base hit by Grossman. They strand him at first and still trail.
Nothing to the A's. Kevin Eschenfelder brings the heat with special guests and in-depth analysis on Sports Talk Live every night at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. Lucas Harrell back on the mound for the Astros here in the 6th. And guys, he was actually the only guy in the bullpen that Bo Porter called questionable today. He wasn't feeling good before the game, so it's good to know that he is feeling better now, or I hope he is.
Thanks, Julia. Questionable, and yet first up and first on the hill from the bullpen this afternoon. Astros down 5-0. 9-hitter Eric Sogard leads off. He is struck out and walked. Good pitch, missed by just a bit.
Boy, I haven't seen an umpire move that quick in a long time. He was out of there.
How about a fastball spiked like that?
Would have been a heck of a pitch in a cricket match.
And a strike. It's 2-1. Have you ever played some cricket? Do you know how to handle that game?
Yeah, we were on the pitch out in Australia. I played winter ball out there. And yeah, it's not easy. It's hard enough to hit it when it's in the air, and that thing skipping off the ground and bouncing all over the place is pretty impressive.
What's the pitcher called in that game?
I think he bowls it in there. Maybe a bowler?
Yeah, maybe the bowler. That's right, I think. Does he have to? It's a mandate that his arm stay straight. The elbow
you can't break
bend.
the elbow. Yeah, and I think you got to bounce that thing in there too. And the pitch where they throw it is as hard as a rock,
which is hit in the air, shallow in right center field. Coming on is Krause to make the catch. One out here in the 6th inning. I was going to say that that rule for the bowler will cut down on Tommy John surgery.
It probably encouraged rotator cuff surgery, but yeah, the Tommy John, I'm not sure they know who that is down under.
Yeah, I wonder if they've perfected that shoulder surgery. One out, top of the order. Chris Young stands in, 1 for 3 on the day, but that one came back in the 1st inning, a single to get it started. He immediately scored as Jed Lowry doubled into right center. 1-1 the count. There is a noticeable pace pickup here by Lucas Harrell. He is getting the ball back from Carlos Corporon, immediately on the rubber and ready to go. And now 3-0. With the wins for the Astros in the first 2 games of this series, it is the first time they've won a series since they beat the Brewers June 18th through the 20th. Ground ball left side on the 3-1 pitch, and the play made by VR. 2nd out here in the inning. That'll bring up Jed Lowry. So a long time for the team without winning a series. It's the 2nd longest streak for the club in franchise history. The Astros, then the Colt 45s, failed to win 16 consecutive series back in 1962. That was the inaugural season. Pitch is popped down the left side. Long chase from Matt Dominguez, won't get there as he looked up, kind of dealing with the sun.
I think he lost it.
Yeah, may have.
He had an idea of where it might be. He was headed in the right direction, but it looked like second glance lost it.
Jonathan VR was on the sprint to try to get to that spot. Davis Mountain out in center field. Fastball in the hands, fouled back just below us. 0-2 the count. Lowry 1 for 3 on his day. Of course, the Astros have swept 2 series this season. That came as the club went through Denver, Colorado, and Anaheim. So the Astros hoping that maybe that plays in on this trip. Down on strikes is Lowry. A 1-2-3-6 turned in by Lucas Harrell. Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Golden Gate Bridge. There are just so many sights here in this Bay Area. Terrific place. The Astros not enjoying it quite as much here this afternoon as they trail 5-0 among the sights. Some work by a guy by the name of Sonny Gray here this afternoon.
Yeah, probably not one of the more welcoming sights for the Houston Astros. The reputation on Sonny Gray was a good fastball, good breaking ball, and you can see, except for that punch out to Mark Krause, a lot of these Astro hitters have not been able to figure out that breaking ball with 2 strikes. Sonny Gray doing a good job of keeping it in the zone for the called 3rd strike on Brandon Barnes and burying it in the ground to get some swings and misses also. 7 Ks on the day.
Starts things here with Carlos Corporon, who rams one into right field, a base hit. Corporon chugs on down the line and now takes a big turn as Reddick fires in on a hop to second. For the Astros, their 3rd hit of the afternoon, the other 2 picked up by Robbie Grossman. Carlos Corporon, a leadoff single here in the 7th inning.
One way to avoid getting to that breaking ball that Sonny Gray has is swing at that first pitch. Goes down and scoops it. I think Josh Reddick was baiting Carlos Corporon here a little bit, daring him to run.
I think that's exactly what was going on.
As we saw last night in that rundown situation after that big RBI double from Corporon, the feet aren't as fleet as he would like them to be.
Strike at the bottom of the knees as Chris Carter stands in. Yeah, I felt like Reddick was saying, go ahead and make my day.
Yeah, just give me another statistic to pile onto my gold glove from last year.
Carter has walked and flied to center. Takes a close pitch. It's a ball and a strike. Sonny Gray, last year's 1st round pick by these Oakland A's. 18th overall in that draft. And one of 15 players now drafted from 2011 that have already played in the big leagues. I may have said last year's draft. 2011. A little soft liner, and the bat goes flying right at Sogard and knocks him down after he makes the catch. I have never seen this before, where the bat winds up hitting the guy that takes the ball.
That's incredible. Good job by Sogard to focus on the baseball and make the play. Yeah, you see a lot of broken bats. You see them flying into the stands, but not too often do you see a guy out in the field get hit by it. Clipped him, sent him down.
Now, up until seeing Sogard make this play, Marty Feldman, the only guy I ever thought would make the play. 1 out. Brings up Mark Krause.
But keep in mind that Chris Carter is swinging a 34-ounce, 35-ounce bat, and the bat head probably weighs about 25, 27 ounces in itself.
So the lumber company takes out Sogard. Mark Krause now comes to the plate. Krause is struck out and grounded out. And the pitch in the dirt gets away from the catcher Norris. It'll likely be a wild pitch, moving Corporon into second base. It is a wild pitch. So 1 out. Corporon at second. And there's that barrel into the bat.
Guarantee you that's a maple wood that is now turned into a spear.
Tapper right off the end of the bat of Krause. 1-1 the count. Are all, most, some of the bats maple these days?
Well, typically a bat that shatters like that and splinters in half and the barrel goes flying, typically I would say a majority of the time is a maple wood bat. The ash has a little more give to it, as opposed to the maple is a much more rigid wood, therefore snapping, breaking like it does like that.
Sonny Gray has a good curveball.
You don't say.
You were talking about it on the strikeouts, but that bad boy is nasty. 2-2 the count.
Did a good job on Mark Krause. His first at bat of throwing that breaking ball early in the count, slowing his bat down and then blowing the fastball by him.
Norris with the signs and the 2-2. Curveball got him right over the top. He will drop the hammer on you. 8 strikeouts for Sonny Gray, 2 outs here in the 7th inning. It brings up Matt Dominguez.
Good grief.
Matty D 0 for 2. He has not complied with the strikeout order here this afternoon. He and Jonathan Villar have stayed away from it, the only Astros hitters to do so. Right-hander Dan Otero getting loose in that pen for Oakland down the left field side. Dominguez starts the bat, holds it back, takes a strike. Again, just 3 Houston hits on the afternoon, 2 by Robbie Grossman, and 1 for Carlos Corporon leading off here in the 7th. There's Otero. Little chopper slowly hit to third, coming on to make the play. Donaldson on the run and a good throw. That'll do it for the Stros in the 7th. They get a leadoff single and leave him at second. It's 5-0 Oakland.
Nothing in the bottom of the 7th. 2014 Astros season tickets are on sale now. Lock in your seats by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. We've played 6.5. The A's have had it their way, as has their starting pitcher, Sonny Gray, in just his 2nd major league start. He has been outstanding, allowing just 3 hits, 8 strikeouts on the afternoon. For the A's here against Lucas Harrell in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3, 4, 5 coming up. Josh Donaldson, Yoenis Cespedes, and Nate Fryman.
Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Athletics, third baseman, Josh Donaldson.
Harrell picked it up for Bedard. That came with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Harrell got that final out, getting Derek Norris to fly out to left field, and then a quick 1-2-3 6th inning. A very quick working Lucas Harrell in that 6th. We'll see if he continues with that pacing here in the 7th. That bullpen is quieted down now, the left side for the Oakland A's. I don't know if that means that Sonny Gray comes out for an 8th inning, but boy, he's been good through 7. First pitch from Harrell misses down and away. Down in that Oakland bullpen down the left side, it is reminiscent of spring training, watching a little catcher's ball blocking drill going on during a big league ball game. I've never seen it. Harrell misses again. 2-1.
Never too late to get better, I guess.
That's Stephen Vogt, who caught the first 2 games here in the series. Reaching out and fouling off the first base side is Donaldson. It's 2-2. Donaldson hitting .296. Watches the breaking ball go low. That'll fill the count. Interesting what Julia had to say about Lucas Harrell not feeling well earlier, but now working in a portion of his third inning of the afternoon. Paul Nauert, the home plate umpire, going to buy a little time here for Carlos Corporon. Standard operating procedure. Foul tip gets Corp right in the mask.
Mask, shoulder, good grief. Still, I mean, I don't know how I didn't do more of this when I played. It looks like so much fun back there.
I think you made a very poor choice early on somewhere.
My goodness.
3-2 pitch just inside. So Donaldson draws the leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. First walk issued by Lucas Harrell. Brings up the left fielder, Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes has a hit in 3 at-bats. That came in the 3rd inning. He was aboard when Nate Fryman clubbed his 3rd long ball of the season. Took a 3-0 lead for Oakland, turned it into a 5-0 lead, and that's where we stand. Harrell falls behind, looks in as if to say, where was that?
It's one way to make it harder on yourself.
And that's part of what we were talking about. For pitchers, you almost have to just be stoic on the hill. Therefore, I think it's a bit easier for umpires behind the plate to favor the hitters a bit. But I like it when the home plate umpire has a little bit of a liberal zone, one that favors the pitcher. It moves the game better. Hitters have to adjust and start swinging the bats. And I think overall you see a better game rather than watching the game where hitters are into this mode of trying to draw walks. And that's become a big part of what Major League Baseball has turned into.
Just never really wanted to be that guy that, you know, that looked like they were out there, you know, hoping and wishing or begging for a pitch to be called a strike. Like, oh, how did you not call that for me, you know?
2-1 pitch, and it's 3-1. Now, are you talking about as a pitcher would do?
Yeah. I mean, I always felt as a hitter, if I saw a guy on the mound that was kind of, you know, hesitating after throwing a questionable pitch and, oh, how come I didn't get that call? I always felt like we had that guy on the ropes.
Yeah.
You know, if he's begging for pitches, that tells me he doesn't have his A+ stuff, and he's a little frightened to throw a ball over the plate, so he's wishing he'd get those corners.
Pitch hit in the air to center field. Here comes Barnes. Nice jump as he makes a play. Tries to get 2 on it as he fires to first. Brandon Barnes is getting more and more aggressive in center. That's out number 1.
Showing off that hose right there. But you got to appreciate the fact that Carlos Corporon's going over there to back up too. So Brandon Barnes is pretty comfortable letting it fly. He got a big assist last night.
I think when you're willing to try to be great is when you give yourself that chance.
Shouldn't be on this field if you're not trying to be great.
Nate Fryman has been pretty close to great this afternoon. 3 for 3. He has doubled, homered, and singled. So I was intrigued by what you were saying about a pitcher that might be perceived as begging on the hill, and that's the term players will use. Ball and a strike on Fryman. Why does it not seem to play the other way, where hitters who continually gripe about this pitch and that don't seem to get that label dropped on them?
I think it does. I think you saw last night there were a couple at bats with Josh Reddick and Jed Lowry who were complaining about one pitch in their at bat. They still worked the 3-2 counts and eventually got punched out. I think they let sometimes hitters can qualify for begging for a better strike zone, but they let that one pitch affect their at bat.
Clearly that takes place. There's no doubt.
But, you know, you got to control those emotions, have that poise out there to continue on in battle.
Fryman watches a strike. 2-2 the count. Maybe a little passive here in an at bat where a triple gets him the cycle.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably not looking for the triple. Maybe another home run would probably please him a little bit more than a triple.
Lines one into right field. Either way, he's got a 4th hit on the afternoon, and he will hold there at first. 4 for 4 for Nate Fryman. And again, he just has torn up the Astros this year, this time against a right-hand pitcher.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. That swing not so far from the double that he hit over the first base bag, just kind of a last instant flip of the bat and hit it sharply. One out, runners at first and second. Callaspo, the switch hitter at the plate, turns around, bats left-handed. He's 0 for 2 on the day, has drawn a walk. Harrell, the second pitcher of the afternoon for Houston, finds the inside edge. It's 1-1 on Callaspo. Harrell has slowed that pace down now with men on base. This is inside. At times this afternoon, the pace has really dragged down. And now Harrell, with a pair of runners on, has let that happen. Ball hit in the air to left field. Grossman going back. He's there to make the catch. Runners go halfway and retreat. With 2 down, right fielder Josh Reddick comes to the plate. Well, Reddick on the afternoon, 1 for 3. Harrell comes set, brings it to Reddick, and a big swing by Reddick. He fouls it back. Not a guy to get cheated very often. That game between the Pirates and Cardinals in St. Louis has been completed in 12 innings. The Cards win at 6-5. That's a big one for St. Louis to down the Pirates, who are now 71-49. Cardinals 69-51. 2 games back.
It's going to be an interesting race to watch. Pittsburgh holding on. This is not a position they are accustomed to over the years, but the St. Louis Cardinals, that is a position they're accustomed to, is winning NL Central titles.
Yeah, the Cards have made it a habit. Cards, we mentioned, get Yadier Molina back today. He winds up going 0 for 5 in that victory. Another good swing by Reddick, and the count at 2-2. So the Angels defeated the Yankees 8-4 in New York. You would figure the Angels are now on a flight heading back west to Anaheim. When you are the LA Angels of Anaheim, where do you fly into?
Got a couple options down there in Southern California. You got John Wayne Airport, Ontario Airport's near them, Los Angeles, Long Beach. If you really wanted to, you could fly into Burbank.
Maybe that's what Artie Moreno was doing, is just keeping his options open.
Options are good.
3-2 count on Reddick. Runners will be on the move. There they go, and the pitch is popped up shallow in left center field. Barnes shading his eyes from a tough sun and now finds the baseball to make the catch. So that does it for the A's. They fail to score but lead it. Move to the 8th inning. This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. August 15th, 2011, Jim Thome clubs his 599th and 600th home runs to become the 8th player to reach that 600 career home run total. He reaches the milestone in fewer at-bats, 8,167 if you're counting, than anyone except for Babe Ruth, who did it in just under 7,000 at-bats. Got any asterisks you might add to this list?
Yeah.
Take your time now.
Yeah, let me think about that.
Don't jump into an answer.
Good grief. Could it be that Rodriguez guy?
Okay.
He's begging for the asterisks.
You're not going to stop there, are you?
Well, can't be guilty until proven innocent.
Say
Can
what?
you?
Oh, but
I mean, I know you're pointing at Barry Bonds on top of that list.
I might have been.
Yeah.
Not sure you even saw my finger.
All legal in his era.
First pitch of the inning here in the 8th. To Brandon Barnes, hit to shortstop, and he's thrown out. One up, one down in the 8th inning. New catcher on for the Oakland A's. As coming on, their backup Stephen Vogt. So Vogt gets some work down in the bullpen and now comes on to do the catching. One out. Jonathan Villar stands in, 0 for 2 on the day. Barnes, by the way, 0 for 3 now. A couple of strikeouts coming earlier in the game. Otero. Sonny Gray is still on. Jerry Blevins throwing in the pen along with Dan Otero. So righty and lefty throwing in that Oakland pen down the left field side. It's quiet in the Astros pen. Sonny Gray working into the 8th inning.
That young man's got 102 pitches. Each strikeout he gets is setting a new career high. Last start at Toronto, he went 94 pitches in 6 innings. Still seems to have pretty good action on that breaking ball. Wonder if Derek Norris's back was acting up on him again. Bringing Stephen Vogt into the game.
Norris had been battling that sore back and recently had to take a long flight with the team. There's a shot down the left field side. Villar at it again like we saw last night. Look at the speed as Villar legs it into second base. A 1-out double here in the 8th inning. And Villar 1 for 3 on the afternoon. When he slashes this way toward left field, I mean, he looks like he could be just a star very soon.
He's exciting to watch and just doing a great job of punching balls the other way. This one finds the left field line, and his speed is what challenges Yoenis Cespedes' arm, and he beats him in there. Just cruising.
For VR now, 4 doubles in his big league career. Leadoff man Robbie Grossman at the plate. Down in the count 0-1. Robbie picked up the first 2 Houston hits of the afternoon. After striking out in the first, he singled in the third and again in the 6th inning.
Velocity still there for Sonny Gray. 94 miles an hour on that last pitch.
Next pitch will be number 107. Grossman backs away. 2-1 the count. Three-run first for the Oakland A's and 2 more in the 3rd inning. All they've needed to this point on the board. Nate Fryman 4 for 4, a couple of singles, a double, and a dinger. 2-1 pitch, high heat thrown on by. Eric Bedard stands to lose it this afternoon. Sonny Gray has had all the elements working for him. 2-2 pitch, curve in the dirt. The Washington Nationals are hosting the San Francisco Giants, the reigning champs in Major League Baseball. It's not going to happen again this year. 3-0 Nats lead. They're in the top of the 6th inning. So how does a team go in less than a full season from as good as the Giants were last year to what has happened this year?
Well, how about the last 3 years?
Yeah,
they've won 2 championships in the last 3 years. Now it's going to be 4 years. I mean, it's still not a bad ratio, but
it's been a great run, no doubt about it.
That run has come to an abrupt halt.
Grossman fouls it back. Bruce Bochy, former teammate of mine while with the Astros. A guy I never anticipated would be a major league manager, and yet he has been one of the game's very best.
I was lucky enough to play for him down in San Diego for a couple years. I had a blast playing for him. He was a good manager.
Fun teammate. His dry, witty humor. 3-2 once again. Taken, strike 3 called. Grossman caught looking on the curveball. Second time he is struck out today. And that's 9 strikeouts now for Gray.
Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico viewers, listen up. Comcast Sportsnet covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com.
Two outs. VR still at second base. Brett Wallace stands in. Wally 0 for 3 on the day. A couple of strikeouts mixed in. Sonny Gray back to the dish. Ball's behind 2-0.
See, when pitchers start missing up in the zone late in the game, it's a pretty good sign that they're getting gassed. See Sonny Gray really deliberate in between each pitch now, trying to reach back and finish off this 8th inning. If he strikes out Brett Wallace, that would be number 10 on the day for him.
Gray brings it under the knees. 3-0. This will be pitch number 115 for Gray. And a strike at the knees. It would seem logical this may be the last man that Gray faces one way or the other. Right hand hitting Jose Altuve waiting on deck, and the Oakland A's have a righty and left-hander both loose in the bullpen. 3-1 is fouled back. One out double by VR. He's at second base. Nobody anywhere near him. But the Astros down by this 5-0 tally. Gray brings the 3-2 curveball. And getting a piece, fouling it on the ground right side is Brett Wallace. He stays alive.
Just barely. That was a pretty good pitch. 3-2 from Sonny Gray.
Got Robbie Grossman on that curveball and comes right back. That says confidence is sky high in that pitch. A lot of the fans here in Oakland have come to their feet backing the young right-hander Sonny Gray.
These draw a limited amount of fans, but they know what they're cheering for.
Ground ball back to the mound. Gray makes the play. He'll jog it most of the way to first and get the final out here in the 8th inning. Sonny Gray has been spectacular. Through 7 1/2, he and his A's teammates lead at 5-zip.
Brad Davis and the Houston Dynamo take on Clint Dempsey and the Seattle Sounders this weekend. Coverage begins Saturday at 7:30 on Comcast Sports Net. The A's have had to play without outfielder Coco Chris this series. You might have noticed he hasn't been in the lineup, still nursing a sore right wrist, which has obviously or apparently bothered him for months, but worsened when he landed on it in the last series against Toronto. He received a cortisone injection. He's been available to pinch run. We've seen him do that this series, but the A's really hoping to get him healthy for the last stretch of the season, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And a guy that certainly was big early on in the season when the A's just pummeled the Astros. Stephen Vogt, who came on to catch in place of Derek Norris, stands in his first plate appearance on the afternoon. Lucas Harrell, with a couple of quick pitches, has a ball and a strike. Pitch is hit sharply on the ground, but to VR, a step to his right, he'll make the play. Out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Yeah, looking around at some of what's gone on in Major League Baseball this year, and some very impressive seasons for individuals like Miguel Cabrera, hitting .360, trying to win another Triple Crown, but Chris Davis is making life tough in that regard. Who do you think wins that home run title, as well as, I guess, the runs batted in title in the American League? Davis leading in home runs 44-38 as we speak, and 40 some odd games to play.
I give Chris Davis the edge on the home run. Hit
in the air to right field. Krause circles back and now back in to make the catch. 2 quick outs for Harrell here in the 8th.
But Miguel Cabrera, for me, he's too good of a hitter, too consistent to not win that RBI title with some of the guys he's going to have on in front of him.
Cabrera leads by a pair in the RBIs category, 114 to 112. And Cabrera has been just smoking hot of late. With 2 down, leadoff man Chris Young at the plate. Young 1 for 4 on the day as Harrell brings a strike. Cabrera recently had strung together 4 consecutive multiple hit games. One of those a 3-hit affair. Home runs in 4 consecutive games and 5 out of 6. Hot shot left side, backhanded VR. The strong throw is high and on by Wallace, and reaching safely is Chris Young. It is a base hit, his second infield single on the afternoon, both on ground balls hit to shortstop. That's a strong arm possessed by VR, but on occasions it just simply gets away from him.
Actually does a good job of getting to the ball. You see him plant that right foot and unload. Just a bad release point.
He's got plenty of arm to play that shortstop position in spectacular fashion.
And he'll figure it out. He's got the talent and the tools. He gets to balls that most guys don't.
I agree.
But he has the right, fundamentally, he has the right moves to get in position to make a good throw. That one just got away from him.
Yeah, you can say watching some guys that maybe they look lackadaisical. I can't say that at all with VR. It just looks like he's made some mistakes.
Well, I'm glad to see that he planted his foot and made the play fundamentally. I know the throw got away and it looks bad in the end, but you know, that's a pretty unique opportunity for some guys where they take advantage of it and try and do the jump, spin, turn, or try and dress it up a little bit, make a highlight reel.
2-out single has Young at first. Jed Lowry at the plate. Grounds at first base side and foul outside the back. Lowry with a double in 4 at bats. That was a big one that plated the first run of the game, as Chris Davis had singled. Lowry instantly doubled into the gap in right center, made it 1-0, and then Lowry scored on the 2-run double by Nate Fryman. So before an inning had been played, the A's led 3-0. They added 2 more in the 3rd inning as Nate Fryman slammed a home run. Harrell finds the inside edge. 1-2 the count. Fouled back. And we were talking about the individual performances. Miguel Cabrera hitting .360. Mike Trout is now 2nd in the American League, hitting .330. You see any chance that Trout can overtake him?
No chance.
David Ortiz is hitting .327. Reaching out, line shot, but a great diving grab by Matt Dominguez. What a play on that backhand side. That'll do it for the A's in the 8th inning. They get a hit and leave a man. Matt Dominguez flashing leather. To LA for one last showdown with Pujols, Hamilton, and the Angels. Don't forget Mike Trout there. Catch Astros pregame live at 8:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
And let's take a look at the Astros-Angels pitching matchups brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It's going to be Brad Peacock for the Houston Astros going up against Los Angeles' Jerome Williams. Brad Peacock yet to get a first career start against the Angels until he matches up with Jerome Williams.
Jose Altuve leads it off here in the ninth inning. Last chance for Houston. Ball hit in the air to right center field. Chris Young rather battling with the sun, eventually wins that battle and makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up the cleanup man, Carlos Corcoran.
Get to take a look at Dan Otero's numbers. Making his 16th appearance, has yet to allow a home run in 21, now 22 innings. 1 walk, 15 strikeouts. Pretty good ratio right there.
Corcoran taking his time to get into the box. 5 runs, 9 hits for Oakland, and no runs on just 4 hits for Houston. Corcoran with 1 of the 4 hits for Houston. Had a 7th inning single that came leading off, but Sonny Gray just shut it down at that point. Corp takes outside. Carlos Corcoran, a huge double last night, provided the margin of victory for Houston, and now 3-0. Corp takes a strike on the outside edge. Carlos hitting .253. Limited playing time, but great success when he has played. Years of age. Carlos is going to turn and semi-sprint on down that first base line as the ball gets by the catcher.
Saw that ball getting away. He's like, got me an opportunity to go too? Maybe not. Good reaction though. Delusions of grandeur.
Corp aboard on the walk. Chris Carter stands in. Carter has avoided the strikeout here this afternoon. He is walked, flied out, and lined out. Hits it in the air to right field. Moving back and toward the gap a bit is Reddick. He'll make the catch. Out number 2. Corp back into first base. And now it's in the hands of Mark Krause. Stay tuned for postgame live presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history. Down to an out. The Astros are going to have to make some serious noise here to sweep this series. Houston trying to win their 40th of the year. They're 39-80. Mark Krause has struck out twice on an 0 for 3 afternoon. Grounds one first base side, past Fryman and down the line. Corcoran digging for third base as Reddick now comes on it. He'll fire to the plate. Runners hold at second and third. And so a 1-out walk, and now the 2-out double by Mark Krause, and the Astros have a little something going.
Krause happy to see Sonny Gray out of the game. Gets a good pitch to hit. Breaks it down the line just out of the reach of Nate Fryman. Got a glove on it, just not enough to corral it.
Yeah, it looked like just a piece of leather on it. That's some coverage on the dive by Fryman.
Yeah, it's interesting with the 5-run lead, not holding Corporon on. If he is holding Corporon on, that's probably an easy out.
You never know. Matt Dominguez stands in and takes a strike. That phrase once again that Joaquin Andujar taught me way back when.
You're going to say it in Spanish?
You never know.
Well played.
No sé, amigo. Down to a strike. The 0-2 pitch is taken up and away. It's been all A's this afternoon. The Astros trying to get something on the board here in the 9th inning. Dominguez takes strike 3 called. 10 strikeouts, and the final one is the final out of the ball game. Matt Dominguez caught looking. The Astros with a double and a walk in the inning strand a pair as the A's win it 5-0.